Hi, this is Jim Townsend at InfoStrat. I'd just like to welcome you to our webinar today. We're going to be looking at Dun & Bradstreet product D&B360. We're fortunate to have Joanne Kendrick in here to give us an overview of the product, and we'll do a little bit of a demo to show you how it looks in action. There's no point in having a CRM system if you don't have good data. And that data has to come from somewhere. Whether you enter it painstakingly or you build an opt-in mailing list through people signing up themselves, you have to get the data in there. And there's really no more authoritative source of data than the Dun & Bradstreet family of companies. So thank you, Joanne, for joining us. Let me just turn it over to you.
Hey, thanks, Jim, and thanks to the InfoStrat team for having me here. I'm Joanne Kendrick. I'm a channel sales director and working with our partner InfoStrat to help deliver this type of data and information to your CRM solutions. So today we're going to be talking about how to unleash insights and growth within your CRM. As Dun & Bradstreet, you may know us as a stodgy old 175-year-old company. That is true. It is not what we see ourselves at Dun & Bradstreet today. We're going to be talking about the importance of having that foundational data that we have acquired over those 175 years and applying the right kind of data into your CRM. So with that, it's good to understand that long-term success in business has always been about more than just who you know and what you do. It is dependent on what you do with your customers, your prospects, suppliers, and partners to help them succeed. It's about relationships. Any company that wants to put relationships first needs to establish a foundation for managing relationships. At Dun & Bradstreet, we call it a relationship platform. Relationships are a series of isolated interactions. They're an interconnected web of engagement that evolves over time. A relationship platform creates a singular, integrated view of data and insights required to manage what is often a complex web. Dun & Bradstreet provides the information and intelligence that can empower you to do this by working with leading clients that we've developed deep expertise on how data and analytics fuel your growth and industry-leading performance. To let you activate our expertise, we create that singular integrated view of relationships, build solutions tailored to your role, whether you're in marketing, sales, finance, supply, compliance, or information technology. We provide access to the world's largest commercial database with more than 240 million company records that we derive from over 30,000 data sources. And we update that 5 million times per day. We also leverage our patented Dun's Right process to provide an unmatched ability to turn an enormous volume of data into high-quality information you need to build your most valuable relationships. And we deliver this content in ways you want to consume it, integrating it into your systems and processes, own data, and data from third-party sources. So growth is imperative for business, and some of the challenges of creating growth are turning a lot of attention towards CMOs, chief marketing officers, or the marketing leadership within organizations. There's now a shift from sales to marketing, and this is where I virtually raise my hand and say, as a sales rep, for the last 15, 20 years, it has always been the sales rep's role to create that growth. And I'm finally smiling and happy to say that the CMO is really now responsible to help initiate and drive that growth within the organization. So in a recent Forbes Insight study of CMOs created with SAP showed that 92% of CMOs have a growth mandate. They're being asked to do it effectively by managing customer experience, developing modern strategies, and deliver organizational transformation. But since growth can be elusive, CMOs and many other executives are left asking, where do I find it? What do I have to do to achieve it? And how do I sustain it? So growth is the lifeblood of business, and in a recent Gartner CEO study, CEOs said it was their number1 priority. They invest heavily in search of it, and over the course of a year, you can see here that up to $4 trillion are spent in IT, $10 billion on mobile marketing, $300 billion on travel, $50 billion in sponsorships, $431 billion on consultants, and $10 billion on CRM software. But often these investments are made in vain. And we took an insight of over 300,000 companies in our own database and found that only 30% of them grew last year. So that's pretty substantial. So relationships are the longest standing, most proprietary differentiator for any company. We buy from people that they like and trust. And how many people have helped write an RFP to win the business, or worked with a company to tailor an RFP because you like that company and wanted them to win your RFP? And if you look at the sales cycle and how long it does take to build that type of relationship that can warrant a decent-sized sale, I'll pause and tell a personal story about, gosh, I'm going to date myself. Back in 2001, I started working in copy sales in the Boston area. And I was hired September 12, 2001. So my territory was Cambridge, Massachusetts, which was home of the .com, right? Well, by October, it was home of the .gone, where you would go into offices and they were completely unlocked, and you could have access to whatever was in their refrigerator if there was anything left at that point. If you wanted a pool table, foosball table, it was all yours for the taking. So while out on a cold calling excursion, we bumped into what we thought was a neighborhood garage, but something was strange about it, so we knocked on the door just to see what was going on there. It ended up being in me, and it took me almost 4 years to sell them, but we sold almost $9 million worth of copiers to this particular company. Now, if I had had a database that pointed out that there was a record company in a residential neighborhood in Cambridge, Massachusetts, I could have shortened the sales cycle because I would have been able to identify the relationships that I wanted to sell to and close that gap from a 4-year sales cycle to maybe a 2-year sales cycle. So that's my little story from my copier sales day, and happy that I'm not there any longer. So technology can be replaced, and obviously people change jobs since I'm no longer a copier rep, and products can become obsolete. In the end, the most successful companies are those that value relationships above all else. More importantly, successful enterprises understand that a singular focus is not the responsibility of any one function. It must be the mission of every employee. So why data? Data is the raw material of everything firms do. They must invest heavily in building a next-generation customer data management capability to grow revenue and profits in the age of the customer. So a couple of keywords here: data, growth, and customer. And that's really what you, as anyone in any business, really is looking at doing. You don't have a customer unless you have something to sell, and to identify that customer, you need information on them. And if you want to grow your business and be successful, there's a nice combination of all three that you need to have to be successful. So in speaking of data and where you're getting your information to sell to your customers, just pause a second to take in this infographic. This is taken from Domo.com, and it really comes down to taking a look at what's happening every minute of the day and the sites that we use on a regular basis and what's going on in those sites. And I'm sure that many of us can raise our hands and say we probably use 4 to 12 of these on the regular throughout the general work week. So you can imagine that your information is growing at an exponential rate. What we want to think about, though, is as a sales rep is acquiring data and customer information and who they're selling to, what happens? They start in their CRM. They identify a customer that they want to go after, and what else are they finding about that customer within their CRM? Typically not a lot. They don't have foundational data. They'll go out to Google. They'll go onto the company website. I was recently in Milwaukee, and I like to use the example of going to Harley-Davidson. So you want to sell to Harley-Davidson your widget XYZ. You go onto the Harley-Davidson website, you start cruising around, next thing you know, you're looking at motorcycles, then you realize they have an online store, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to buy myself a winter jacket. Next thing you know, you're at Macy's, you're at Amazon.com. You're gone down a 40-minute rabbit hole, and you were supposed to sell something to Harley-Davidson. So we could actually take that 40 minutes back and put it back to the CRM and give a client what they need at their fingertips so that sales reps can be successful and stay on task. Wouldn't you all agree that that would be important to have? So another thing that you need to consider is corporate data volatility. So we took a look at, over the course of a year, in a typical work week, what happens to our data degradation at D&B. So we found that over 240 businesses move, 150 businesses change phone numbers, 30 companies change names, 60 businesses open, 20 businesses close, and there are 40 CEO changes, and that's all in 1 hour. Now, if we take a look in 1 year, and we take a look at your own corporate data volatility, 2% of addresses, 11% of phone numbers, and 7% of CEOs. So data changes, and being able to keep the freshness of data in your own database is really important. So if we pause here and take a look and some of the considerations about your current CRM data quality. How do you measure the quality of the prospect and customer data within your CRM? Are you searching multiple data sources to validate your data? How do you integrate unstructured data like news and social media into your CRM? And can your current data advance sales, increase marketing results, enhance customer support? So something to really think about from my 2 personal stories that I just shared. Can you shorten those sales cycles? Are you able to get that data at a reasonable amount of time? Are you keeping your employees on task? Are they doing what they should with the data that they have at hand? So if we flip that switch, and instead of saying your data is bad, throw it all away, let's take a look and take a step back from a holistic view. Now, what if you have the right prospect information at your fingertips? What if that information was automatically updated and enriched? What if your marketing ROI skyrocketed? Your sales teams actually utilized your CRM. I can raise my hand again and say, as a sales rep, a CRM is typically a beefed up Rolodex. And what if I actually had the right resources where I continually used it to be effective in a sales rep instead of being the card, the paper carrying sales rep with the bag, and I don't share any of that information with the rest of the organization. And also your customer support gives rapid resolution. So what does this mean? So CEOs of global companies are more bullish on growth than in recent years. In a 2015 PricewaterhouseCoopers U.S. CEO survey, that's a lot of acronyms in there, shows that they believe that there are more opportunities for growth than there were 3 years ago, and it's at a 46% high over 5 years. So they're very confident in growth this year. So if this is what the landscape is looking at, that our bosses are saying, yes, we're going to grow, how are we going to do that? So we took a look at the companies that were utilizing our data internally, and by utilizing our data, what did they find to support what the CEO mandates are, what CMOs are being required to do internally. So by using the Dun & Bradstreet data, you can increase your sales opportunity growth by 25%, have a 33% shorter sales cycle, a 21% increase in CRM adoption, a 19% higher team attainment of quota, and a 23% production in your salespeople. So it really comes down to the winning combination, having that right blend of technology and content to let you know who is most likely to buy my product and service, who is the right decision maker that you need to engage with, what relevant contextual information can you leverage in that discussion. So pause for a second here and take a look at what the D&B core assets are. So as I mentioned before, Dun & Bradstreet has the world's largest commercial database with more than 240 million company records that we derive from 30,000 data sources and update 5 million times a day, leveraging our patented Dunn's Right process to provide that unmatched ability to turn an enormous volume of data into the high-quality information you need to build your most valuable relationships. So it's a lot of numbers, but what does that really mean? So I'll use the example of one of the partners that we do business with, started a side business with an LLC, went to the local clerk of courts to register that business opportunity. Within about 45 business days, someone from D&B was calling them to assign a DUNS number. So that's a pretty good turnaround. Typically, if we are collecting that information from those 30,000 data sources, which could be clerk of courts throughout any of the states that we have or countries that we're utilizing, that's where we're finding out that information. Typically, we try and scroll through that information and assign a DUNS within a 90 to 120-day period, depending on how frequently we get those updates. However, companies can actually go out to our website and assign their own DUNS number. So if you are starting that LLC and maybe the bank that you're doing some business with requires a DUNS number, you can actually go to our website and assign one yourself. So those updates are happening continuously, 5 million updates a day. That is a lot of data that is being updated. I'll talk a little bit about our D&B360 product next, but there are other sources of data that we can help give you at your fingertips. So it's not just in your CRM, which I'll also talk about a little bit later, but if we talk about the topic at hand, which is our D&B360. So D&B360 delivers financial, social, and professional contact insight into your Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So you can find those prospects, segment targeting, you can get relevant news information and from social media feeds. So we might not be giving you the hashtag specific airline, I hate your guts. You're not going to find that as some of the information that we're pulling in. However, if that specific airline, the CEO recently had a heart attack, now we know who we're talking about, right? We would actually be able to pull that news information in so you could see it in current. You'd also be able to see corporate linkage. So one of the great points of this, which I'll show you within the demo, is you'll be able to see who is a child, parent, a sister company, some of the competitor information so that you can be more successful and more tactical within your selling environments. And also providing you a single complete view of your customer, data, and prospects within your CRM. So if we jump to the next slide, you will actually see here that D&B will deliver that information in a user interface that is really easy to use. It is within your CRM environment, and we can commingle D&B with your data. On the right-hand side, you'll see that the different areas within your organization, so if you have supply, compliance, IT, sales and marketing, and finance, they can actually view their data as a single integrated view of the relationships that they all have either with your clients, your prospects, your existing business, your new business, and the different areas that you would work in and around your customer base. So with that, I'm going to jump over to our screen here. So what we're looking at is a very lightweight view of my instance of Dynamics. I use this mostly for demos and some of the management of our Partner Alliance team. So it is very lightly customized, pretty much out of the box. So our D&B360 is a very lightweight applet that sits within your CRM. And I'm doing everything real time here so you can actually see what it looks like. So if I wanted to, let's say, go to a very small retailer within the Minneapolis region, we'll go to Target Corporation here. And as you can see, that drop-down will pull up anything with the name Target in it. So we're giving it a second to populate here. You see those little plus signs are moving along here. So Target Corporation, in the search bar up top, has resulted in 956 results. Now I can scroll down on the left-hand panel here, and if I wanted to, I can start to target, literally target, different locations, the types of industries, employee counts, location types, and ownership types to help me target the right target corporation I'm looking for. So in this instance, I'm going to go to the headquarters. And as you see here, I have gone ahead prior to this and added them as a lead into my CRM. So we'll click on Target, and I will show you what it looks like within the D&B360, and then also show you what it will look like within my CRM. So to walk through the D&B360, you'll see what we call the Super 7 right up top. So it'll give you phone information, address, DUNS, and other taxable information, annual sales, market value, employees, and pre-screen score. just a couple of notes here. So Target being a public company, we're able to get some really detailed financial information, market value, and employee information because that's readily available either through quarterly reports or possibly posted on their website. So that information is really easy to get and obtain about Target. Now, let's say we were looking at let's say it was Jim's Ace Hardware down the street from my house. And I know that they just opened up shop a couple of months ago, but I sell widgets that help these types of business in the hardware market. Jim's Hardware might not necessarily have public information available. He may not want that information to leave his sources. So what we will do is we'll use data models. So based on the company size, based on SIC and NAICS code information that we can acquire about the company, we'll apply our own data models to assess the type of business that they are, possible annual sales, possible employees, and then taking a look at the pre-screen score here. This is not a credit rating. Since the D&B360 is a sales and marketing tool, it's supposed to give you a red, yellow, green indicator of the type of pre-screen credit score that they may have. So in this instance, you'll see that it's Target. We know that they're low risk, but maybe if you're looking at a real estate investment trust company, they may be dealing in mergers and acquisitions, so there's a lot of cash flow in and out. We may rate them as red and high risk. So since we're in the main page here, we'll just scroll down a little bit, and you'll start to see some of the descriptions, and they usually kind of like to give a wink and nod in the first sentence of the descriptions here. You'll see some of the industry information, the latest news. Oops, scroll that. So you can see today is November 11th, and that we do have some postings about what's been going on at Target today. Some of the key people listed right on the front page, who the competitors are, their family tree, and distribution of revenue in the industry as well as employees in the industry. So one of my favorite, even though this is the front page here, one of the favorite quick links is what we're looking at here in this blue bar across the top. So what we have open right now is the quick look. So this is giving us a snapshot on a dashboard. We can click on excuse me, the description, and this will give you a little bit more information. So if I go back to that Harley-Davidson sales rep scenario, I didn't have to go to the corporate Target website to find out some information. I have some general description here. I have geographic reach. I have operation information. I have sales and marketing information, financial performance, some of their strategy, looks like there's a little bit more, and some of the merger acquisition information. So I don't have to go out to the Target website to find this information. We've already sourced that for you here in the dashboard. Going back over to the industry information, if you're looking at maybe targeting specific types of companies or market segments, you can use the SIC or NAICS codes to help develop that, and I will be doing a build-a-list to help show you that. Another favorite feature here is this call prep. So again, using that instance of what am I going to talk to Target about? What do I know about this corporation? I'm sure everyone can attest to spending, you go in for a gallon of milk and you come out spending $200. We know that that's what Target is really good at doing, but how do they purchase? What do I need to talk to them about? What is my widget how is my widget going to benefit this company? So this call prep information also helps. Being at your fingertips as a sales rep, it can give you the conversation starters, some of those business challenges, operations, products, and facility information, customers, marketing, pricing, and competition, regulations, R&D, imports and exports, organization and management, financial analysis, and business and technology strategies. So there's a lot of information to consume here that you can start to read about without actually having to step outside of your CRM. Again, I'm not going to Amazon. I'm not down a different path now. I'm still within my CRM. So if we come over here to financials, as I mentioned, since Target is a public company, we will be able to pull some of the most recent information that we can that has been given and posted on public websites. So you can see some of that information is here, giving you a good snapshot. And then obviously this people, I feel like this people tab should be moved either right at the front or right at the end, because this is always the juicy one everyone wants to look at. So if I click on the people tab, you can see over here on the left-hand panel that we have just under 11,000 contacts identified within Target Corporation. I can start to filter and refine this. So I can look at people at this location, subsidiaries, locations, job function. I'll look down here. Having a phone has neither email nor phone. And as you can see here, and this is where I say get your pens and pencils ready, you can see that I've gone ahead and added 5 lead contacts from Target Corporation into my CRM. And again, I will show you what those will look like. But I will show you how easy it is. We'll go ahead and add Jordine Kolblak right into our CRM. And it's as easy as clicking on this lead button. And let's do it this way, because I'm not sure why that is not working. All right, go ahead and add Jordine as a lead so you can see it's thinking. And I have been dinged by one of my professional contacts. And it's still adding into my CRM, and now you can see that they are listed as a lead within my CRM. So with that, I'm going to click on that little L, click on Jordine's name, and a new window will pop open within my dynamic CRM. And this is where Jordine, their information is here. So I have their business phone number as well as their email information, EVP and Chief Human Resources Officer is listed here. Now I can scroll back down and it'll still give you some of that high-level information about Target within your CRM. So again, it's very lightweight. And another iframe will pop open so you have some of that further detail information on Jordine right within the CRM record. So we'll just go back here and go back one more. And just to show you, we will go back into the CRM records here and show you the Target Corporation. I go ahead and click on the lead here, another window will pop open. Click on Target Corporation, another window will open within my dynamic CRM, and it'll give me the general information on Target. Again, very lightweight. We don't want to take up a whole lot of memory in your system. Expensive to import that data and keep it residing in there, so that's why we make sure that it's a very lightweight applet within there. And again, you can start to see that the D&B360 information, this is the iframe that's in here, and you can then start to see that right within the frame and work within it, or jump back and forth. So if I was doing searches or if I was within the CRM record, I can then start to manage the account more effectively that way. Close that out. And let's go back to Target Corporation. One of the other items that we can start to see here is this news feature. This is great. You can, if let's say you're a major account rep or have strategic key accounts that you want to follow, you can actually turn alerts on. So anytime there is an update on how frequently you'd like to actually have the Target Corporation information sent to you, it can be sent by email. I have it sent so it's daily. An email will go into your inbox so you can then go back to the company information and then research what's going on. Again, we are pulling the latest news. It's not the negative tweeting information that's out there, but we are pulling in more of that top business tweet information that you can see here. And we'll take a look at the family tree. So if you are selling to the headquarter and corporate information, and maybe some of the other entities are actually self-supporting and purchase that on their own, you can actually see those other entities and add them into your CRM as just as easy as clicking that little plus sign on the right-hand side. And if you've sold to Target Corporation, and you've done well there, you obviously want to sell into their competitors, because if one widget's good for Target, probably good for Bed Bath & Beyond as well. So this will give you an idea. This is a great quick add area where I could select all these companies and add them right into my CRM. By adding the selected, I can add them in as leads or as contacts into my CRM. But I won't do that for this demo. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a second. So that is just the basic search, research, people information, things that you can do within a corporate entity for Target Corporation. So what we have here, we can go ahead and start a new list. I can actually scroll down and see a couple of the lists that I've put together recently. But I'm going to go ahead and start a new list. So I'm going to go, let's do it by area code. And since we are in 202 today, we'll do an area code. And you'll start to see these top two blue bars here will light up with information. So you'll see that I found 56,000 companies within the 202 area code with over 202,000 people in them. So let's do some annual sales. So let's do between 150 to 500 million. All right, so now we have a manageable list. So I'm looking at a really high-tier, high-power company, and I can go ahead and then click right on the company list. And this is a great way to start to build marketing lists that you're looking, maybe doing some target marketing, or if you're a sales rep and you want to start to do a call list for your call blitz on Monday mornings. This is a great way to help segment what you're actually doing, keeping it within your CRM, and being able to work just within your CRM without losing additional time going out to Amazon and 100 other sites that can distract you. So as you can see here, if we click on, let's say I'm doing American University, I want to call into them. Again, similar to what we saw when we're doing the target search, a new window will open up so that I can save my spot within the build a list. I can start to see that American University information. And if I wanted to, I can go ahead and add them as a lead or an account into my CRM. Go ahead and add them as a lead. Can start to look at some of the people in there and build my list that way. If I wanted to go ahead, I can then dump in all of the contacts that I've selected here into my CRM. But let's just jump back here to the build a list. Okay. So this was just based on two criteria. If we click over on the people here, I've pulled up over 8,400 people here. Let's edit this criteria. This isn't going to be an effective call list for a sales rep to do on a Monday morning calling blitz. I can then go ahead and start to do job function. So let's say I want to look at someone in sales. Let's do sales and marketing director and see how many people come back. Not many. Let's do executive directors, maybe. We can start to see, all right, so now we have some executive directors. Let's get rid of the sales and marketing director. Wasn't effective. Let's see what these people look like. So within the area code 202, with executive directors and annual sales of 150 to 500 million, we now have 30 people that we can go up and contact from 82 companies, and it could be as easy as starting a marketing campaign as clicking on this area here, scrolling down, add selected right into my CRM. It does have the availability to export, but since you're working right within your CRM, my question is why would you need to export it? And again, you can do this through all the lists. And you can start to add these folks into your CRM and build the campaigns that way. So that is the basic functionality within our D&B360. What I'd like to do is just go back to the slides here. And for other purposes and other solutions, our D&B360, again, is the offering that we offer embedded inside of our dynamic CRM. We also offer several other solutions to get your data or update existing data. So we have our optimizer solutions. So you can cleanse what data you have in your CRM today by handing us over a flat file. We would then append and add our DUNS information as well as firmographic information and what other entity items that you may need or not need. We can give you a list of what we would spit back to you, and then you'd be able to take that flat file and import it back into your CRM. Now, as a little asterisk of note, within D&B360, we have a match and batch update offering. So if you tell us how many entities you have within your CRM, we would allow that same instance of, instead of handing over a flat file, you can do it overnight within your CRM, and it can update it 12 times over the annual life of your contract. Now, if you're not ready to go to CRM and maybe you just want to have that web portal access, we do have our Hoovers offering, which D&B360 and Hoovers pull from the same database, one being embedded into CRM, the other is outside of the web portal of Hoovers. And then finally, we have our D&B Direct. It's actually Direct 2.0. It's data as a service. So this is a great way. So if some of your sales and marketing are working within CRM, but maybe some of your excuse me, your payroll or billing excuse me, is working in an ERP, they need to do data calls out. Our D&B Direct offering would actually be able to work inside anything that's on a SQL database as data as a service, where you can do info calls out to our database on a transactional basis. So with that, I would like to say thank you for your time today. I hope you found this insightful. If there are any questions, please contact our folks at InfoStrat. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Joanne. We really appreciate the presentation and the demonstration.